The Arizona Canyon stretched endlessly beneath a sun that burned with the weight of an ancient curse, its cracked earth like the skin of a forgotten giant. Red dust swirled in a low wind, clinging to sweat and regret, whispering secrets through jagged rocks. Ethan Hawk Riley, 42, moved through the boulders, a lean silhouette, tall as a fence post, his skin tanned to leather by years under the merciless sky. His frayed cavalry Stetson, a relic from his days at Fort Mercer, shadowed eyes that had seen too much. His Appaloosa's saddle creaked with each step, the rhythm a companion to his solitude. A rifle hung tight across his back, and a revolver, never missing in a decade, rested at his hip. In the distance, a thin trail of smoke curled upward, maybe a signal, maybe a trick of the desert's cruel mirage. Ethan didn't believe in ghosts, but signs? Those he trusted. This one carried the scent of blood and unfinished debts, pulling him deeper into the canyon's heart. The trail wound through cholla cacti and limestone, the heat pressing down at 110 degrees, shadows offering little relief. Ethan's breath was steady, but his gut churned with the instinct of a man who'd lived too long on the edge. He'd walked away from the cavalry 10 years ago, after the screams of Clearwater Village had carved themselves into his dreams. Now, he rode alone, a man chasing redemption in a land that offered none. The smoke trail thickened, curling like a warning. He nudged his horse forward, eyes scanning the horizon, knowing the desert never lied, even when it deceived. The ravine opened into a dry riverbed, and there he saw her, a woman tied upright to a giant barrel cactus, rawhide biting her wrists purple, thorns piercing her torn tunic. Her black hair, matted with blood and sweat, fell over eyes half open, half gone. A sign nailed to a dead mesquite read in dried blood, "Traitor. Last of the light born." Ethan's breath caught, sharp as a blade. He dismounted, boots crunching gravel, heart pounding with a mix of dread and recognition. The phrase wasn't military, it was Dine, Navajo, a sacred line twisted into a death sentence. "God damn," he muttered, drawing his Bowie knife. "What did they do to you?" Ethan approached the woman, his shadow falling across her bloodied form. The cactus thorns had torn her skin, and blood soaked the sand at the base. Her wrists, bound tight, were bruised to a deep violet, and her tunic hung in tatters. He cut the rawhide, careful not to jostle the thorns embedded in her flesh. Her knees buckled, but he caught her, easing her to the ground. Her eyes flicked open, sharp as obsidian, meeting his with a defiance that startled him. No tears, no pleas, just a hollow, unblinking stare. Her face was carved from strength, high cheekbones, sunburnt bronze skin, a sharp nose, and a mouth drawn tight in stubborn silence. "Easy now," Ethan said, voice low, steady. "I ain't gonna hurt you." She didn't respond, just watched him, her gaze cutting through the heat. He pulled his canteen, pouring a slow trickle onto her cracked lips. She swallowed, wincing as if it burned. "You got a name?" he asked. Silence. "All right," he sighed, "we'll talk later." His eyes scanned the ground, boot prints, 5 or 6, size 11, military issue, less than 2 hours old. "Bastards are close," he muttered, ripping the sleeve from his shirt to bind her wounds. As he worked, he noticed a necklace tucked beneath her collar, a turquoise pendant, heart-shaped, carved with symbols ancient as the canyon itself. The heart of the mountain, perhaps. She flinched when his fingers brushed it. "Didn't mean to," he said quickly, focusing on her wounds. Her voice, when it came, was dry, flat, cautious. "You cavalry?" Ethan froze, the question a ghost from his past. "Was," he said after a beat. "Long damn time ago." Her lips curled, not a smile, a grimace. "Maybe you should have left me." His jaw clenched. "Maybe I would've, 10 years back." She stared, hard. "What changed?" He didn't answer, wrapping her shoulder in cloth. "Come on, you're burning up." "Got a place nearby." The journey to the mineshaft took half an hour, Ethan riding slow, one arm steadying her in the saddle. The heat was relentless, buzzards circling overhead, but they wouldn't claim her today. The mineshaft, abandoned since the silver bust of '69, sat tucked behind a bluff near Dust Devil Ridge. Ethan laid her on a cot of old army blankets, started a fire, and crushed herbs, snakeweed, wild sage, bartered from an Apache healer, mixing them with whiskey for her wounds. Coyotes howled beyond the ridgeline as night fell slow, the silence between them heavy but not empty. She broke it first, voice low, "You didn't ask what they wanted." Ethan didn't look up from the fire. "I already know. That pendant. Heart of the mountain." She nodded, firelight catching her face. "It's not treasure. It's a key." "To what?" "Something you cavalry folk tried to bury." He tossed his old cavalry coat to the dirt. "Not anymore." Her eyes softened, barely. "Why help me?" Ethan leaned back, shadows deepening his cheekbones. 10 years ago, I watched a village burn. Heard children scream. Did nothing. I see their eyes every night." She blinked, measuring his words. "My father was the last light born. They killed him for this pendant." He nodded. "And you're next." Her name was Lena. "No one's safe," she said, "not while he's out there." "Who?" "Silas Blackwood." Ethan stiffened, the name a blade from 8 years past, a man with a silver tongue and a heart of lies. Dawn broke through the mineshaft's warped beams, painting Lena in slivers of gold and shadow. Ethan hadn't slept, sharpening his cavalry knife, its whisper a substitute for words he couldn't find. Lena stirred, wincing. "Made coffee," he said. "Strong enough to burn grief." She took the tin cup, grimaced at the taste. "I don't drink cavalry brew." He chuckled, but silence settled, heavy. "Did you know him?" she asked. "Silas Blackwood?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "Too well." Lena stared into the dead fire. "He burned everything. Said the heart didn't belong to savages." Ethan winced, Blackwood's venom familiar. "My father made a deal with the army. Gave names to protect me. It didn't last." Her hands trembled. "They called me the last light born. A threat." Ethan met her eyes. "Your father, Tanai's. I knew him. Healed soldiers at Red Clay Crossing. Got spit on for it." Lena's gaze shifted, recognition flickering. "You stood with Blackwood there." Behind him, Ethan admitted. Too scared to step forward. She nodded. "That's worse." Later, as he cleaned his rifle and she rewrapped her shoulder, a tremor shook the dust. 6, maybe 7 horses. Ethan peered through a crack in the boards. Blackwood, in a polished coat and bone-white gloves, led the squad. Lena paled, clutching her pendant. "Stay here," Ethan whispered. "If they come, take the back shaft, head east to the creek bed." Ethan stepped outside, raising a hand as Blackwood's squad halted. Blackwood dismounted, boots polished like mirrors, saber at his side for show. His cruel eyes smiled. "Ethan Riley, chasing shadows?" Ethan spat, "Killing them for money." Blackwood smirked. "There's a fugitive. Navajo girl. Dangerous. Seen her?" Ethan shrugged. "Just lizards and regrets." Blackwood's eyes narrowed. "The law doesn't apply to them out here. Don't play hero." Ethan's voice dropped. "I'm no hero. Just tired of being a coward." Blackwood smiled, cold. "That sounds like treason." He mounted, promising to return. Ethan exhaled, shaking, and found Lena in the doorway. "You lied for me." "Damn right." "Why?" "I've worn that uniform. I know their justice." Her eyes softened, ice melting. "You think I'm innocent?" I think you're a survivor. Worth saving. Days passed, fragile and quiet. Lena's fever broke, her wounds tender but healing. Ethan redressed them, his calloused hands gentle. She stopped flinching. One morning, she emerged, a blanket draped over her shoulders. You sharpen that knife every night? Waiting for the ambush, he replied. Teach me, she said. To fight. Ethan nodded. We start with the land. At dawn, they climbed ridges near Dust Devil Ridge. Lena taught him to read the earth, grass bends, dung colors, sand ripples. The land talks, she said. Most are too loud to hear. Ethan handed her his revolver. Clarity in your gut matters more than speed. Her first shot went wide, but by the fifth day, her aim was true. Nights brought stories, stars, mothers, near deaths. Lena was Little Bear, Dine. Ethan, once a fiddler, stopped after clear water. Didn't deserve music, he said. Lena shared fry bread, forgiveness unspoken but felt. One evening, Lena froze at the mineshaft's entrance. Navajo sigils, yea spirits, a jagged sun, a vulture, were etched on the rock. You drew these? She asked. Ethan nodded. Copied from a canyon south. For strength. She traced the vulture. Nilka Altsai. Soul carrier. You painted him free. Like someone I know. Her voice softened. You've changed. Only 'cause you let me. Boot prints appeared in the sand, fresh, military. They're back, Lena whispered. She pulled out the pendant. The heart of the mountain. A resonance, a compass for healing. Blackwood wants its power. Ethan exhaled. We can't run forever. I don't plan to, she said. I want truth, not vengeance. They planned under starlight, mapping snares and mirror shards to blind riders at dusk. At sunset, Blackwood's 6 riders entered the gorge. Lena flashed a mirror, blinding a scout. Ethan's shot dropped him. Snares snapped, men screamed, horses crashed. Lena whistled, a kestrel's call. Blackwood broke east toward the mine. Inside, he reached for the pendant. Don't, Lena said, revolver aimed. Blackwood sneered. Bold, little ghost. You're out of men, she said. He taunted about her father's betrayal, names traded for her safety. Lena trembled. Ethan appeared, rifle raised. He's twisting it, Ethan said. Blackwood lunged, slashing Ethan's shoulder. Lena disarmed him, her elbow in his throat. You're not worthy, she hissed, snatching the pendant. They left him bound for the sheriff. At Juniper Ridge, Sheriff Otis Redhill waited. Press charges, Miss Yazzie. Lena shook her head. Truth speaks louder than revenge. Blackwood, manacled, was silent, his myth broken. Lena and Ethan buried the pendant beneath a juniper tree, wrapped in dine cloth. Not for men like him, Lena said. They sat as the sun sank, a kestrel circling. He broke something in me, Lena murmured, but I won't let it shape me. Ethan handed her a carved kestrel. For someone who reminded me why I keep going. She smiled, faint but real. Weeks later, they bought land on the old cavalry road. Ethan built a barn, Lena planted seeds, sharing stories with the earth. Children visited, learning clouds and courage. A letter declared Juniper Hollow protected heritage. We're home, Lena whispered. One evening, Ethan offered his hand. They danced, barefoot, to the wind's tune. At dawn, Lena spoke of other villages, other girls. We're not done. Ethan grinned. We're not running. We're riding. Their footprints wove together, hope and proof etched in the sand, an eternal mark on the canyon's heart.